ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुर्मृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपा सग्रजता साधना रघुनाथं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदा सगना ललिता श्री विशाखावितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगपते गोपिशा गोपिका कंता राधा कंता नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकापतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, you are welcome. Tripura, Hare Krishna, how are you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm doing good thing.
Yeah, now it's school today. Okay, so quickly, you can remind us of your notes. Somebody want to remind us of the road notes they have taken?
I can try, Prabhu.
Yeah, please.
For 7.17, we discuss about a person or one who is in full knowledge, and this person is always engaged in pure devotional service for the Lord, and so this person is the best devotee according to Krishna. However, it doesn't mean that the other three kinds of devotees are not as important, but according to Krishna, they are still magnanimous souls. However, the one who is in knowledge is still the best according to him. What else? Oh, in this verse, you talked about Dhruva Maharaja's story, about his story that at first he desired wealth, and then eventually, when he is closer to the perfection, he thought that though his desire, which is to become or to have a kingdom greater than his great father, is not anymore like desirable. Is to him such wealth or such gain is akin to like a broken glass. He told us. So, okay, what else? You also quoted Canto 9 of Srimad Bhagavatam, around that verse, right? The story of Ambarisha Maharaj. So I will not tell this whole story because it's a long one. But the essence of that story is that we shouldn't, that when you're a pure devotee, the Lord will protect you. And if there's another devotee or another person that is trying to deter your path towards perfection, Krishna will come and will save you from that devotee trying to delay your journey. Okay, what else? Oh, in that verse, like verse 18, we discuss also about finding faults, about criticism, that if you are trying to find fault at others, especially in devotees, you're gonna spoil your own spiritual life. So we shouldn't commit Vaishnav aparaj because it doesn't only affect the devotee that we are criticizing, but it also affects us greatly. Your story was about the king who was offering food to the Brahmins, right? That instead of him having received the bad karma for having for the Brahmin's death, or the snake, or was it the eagle carrying the dead snake, it wasn't them who got the bad karma, but it was the lady, the woman who was trying to badmouth the king undeservingly. So that's the purpose of this story, that if you criticize others that are undeserving of that criticism, you're gonna get 100% of the bad karma. For 7.19 rather, you told us that one who is a knowledge, who surrenders to Krishna, is a great soul, and that great soul is very, very rare. That is why, because you told us that in this past, or trying to be a knowledge or learn about Krishna, it's difficult because we think as living entities, we are the controllers. So we are always forgetting that there is a supreme being that controls us, our everyday life. And so Krishna is all pervading in everything and everywhere. So we must go to that stage in order to attain perfection. For 720, we discussed about demigods. So those who surrender to demigods are less intelligent persons or foolish persons, because why go to them if there's a better path, which is to just worship Lord Krishna. The demigods are not the beings that we should worship. Instead, we should just go straight to Krishna instead of being, because the demigods, they still evoke these like material nature, personalities of material nature, right? So they still feel anger, lust, pride, but Krishna is above all that. That is why demigods are very capricious, and they're mercurial, right? They change attitude and personalities all the time if you don't satisfy them enough. So it's a waste of time to try to offer something to them, because these figures, they're not as perfect or supreme as Krishna. So that's the whole lesson yesterday.
Thank you very much. I always like to hear from devotees summarizing what we discussed. So I give everybody equal opportunity, but Mother Nikki always take her time. So tomorrow it can be your day. Take notes, and you can speak for 5, 10 minutes, no problem. Everybody is given equal opportunity. I just want to make sure that at least we are taking down something, and then we can always go back to our notes and refresh our memory after the class. Thank you, Mother Nikki. We are very grateful, okay? So we continue from where we stopped. So I love the story you mentioned about the king and the woman. Actually, when I read that story, I was smiling. I was very happy about that story. And it's a very wonderful story, because it shows that if you criticize devotees, you're going to get the bad karma of those devotees. And that is why you can see those devotees who criticize other devotees, their life is always very miserable, always very miserable. I've not seen anyone who criticizes other and is a happy person. No, always miserable. They are always complaining, always complaining. They're never happy. You see? And the opposite is the case of someone who tries to see the good in others. They will always find a reason to be happy. They will always find reason to be happy. Because in this material world, there will always be fault. There will always be fault. And everyone has gotten a fault. Everyone. And if you want to find fault, also you'll find fault in Krishna. So tell me who you cannot fault in this world. Who is that? There's no one. So why wasting so much time looking for faults or to criticize other devotees? That story of the snake. So the Yamadutas, they were thinking, who are we going to give this karma to? Is it the dead snake that the poison came up from the mouth? Or the Brahmana, the king who served the Brahmana the food? Or the eagle who was carrying the dead snake? Or who are we going to give this karma to? Who? Who are we going to give the karma of killing this Brahmana? Because the eagle was just flying above where the king was serving the food. The eagle was just flying. And he was carrying a dead snake in his mouth. And the poison coming out from the mouth of the dead snake fell into the food. So And as the poison fell into the food, the king does not know that that snake was above and the poison fell into the food. He was just serving the prasadam to the brahmanas. And the brahmana, unfortunately, took the poison and he died. So who is going to get the karma? Is it the king who served the food? Is it the dead snake? Is it the higu? So they were perplexed. They don't know who to give the karma to. But immediately one woman came and somebody was asking for the house of a Brahman of the king. Say, please, can you direct me to the palace of the king? He said, oh, yes, if you go like this, you go Kana, then when you go Kana a little bit, then you go Kalewa, then you will see the palace of the king just above you. Okay. Then he whispered to him, be careful. The king is known to be the killer of a Brahmana. Immediately he said that, oh, the Yamadutas, they were very happy. Yes, this woman is going to get the karma. You know, now they find someone who will get the karma. So there's a lot of morals principle in this story. So as a devotee, let us always look for the good of others, because we will never be happy if you cannot find good in others. You will never be happy. Okay. So thank you for reminding us of that story. It was very, very instructive. And so Krishna yesterday was talking about those who worship the demigods. They are so stupid. That's why they worship the demigod. Not only stupid. Krishna mentioned Rita Gyana. Rita Gyana means their intelligence is stolen. They have intelligence, but it's stolen away. Very funny. Eh? And Krishna mentioned in the other verse that he gives the faith. Yo yam tano bhakta. Shadaya. I give the faith to those people who worship the demigods. I give them the faith. So Krishna is the one controlling everyone in this universe. He is the super soul in our hearts. Somebody want to serve the demigod, he make his faith very strong. That is why we should not criticize anyone. That is why we should not criticize. Actually, it's one of the offense against devotional worship to criticize other literatures or other scripture, whether be Christian or Muslim, their scriptures is an offense to criticize it. And it's an offense to criticize even those, the practitioners. It's an offense. A pure devotee will not criticize even other religion or the practitioner of other religion. A pure devotee will never criticize them. Because they know that Krishna is the one giving everyone the faith to practice whatever they are practicing in this world. It's Krishna, is in our hearts. You know, so even those who are worshiping the demigod, he gives them that intelligence. He gives them the faith. You see? So we continue from where we stopped yesterday. So we stop at text 21. So we go to 22 today. Sataya Sadaya Yuktas Tasyara Namiyate Labate Chakata Kama Maya Eva Vitaitan. So Krishna is saying here, and thou with such a faith, he endeavored to worship a particular demigod and obtain his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Krishna is the one fulfilling every desire. Somebody want to read the purport? Then we can talk now.
Okay. The demigods cannot award benedictions to their devotees without the permission of the Supreme Lord. The living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the demigods do not forget. So the worship of demigods and achievement of desired results are due not to the demigods but to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by arrangement. The less intelligent living entity does not know this, and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit. The devotee, when in need of something, prays only to the Supreme Lord. asking for material benefit. However, it's not a sign of a pure devotee. A living entity goes to demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. This happens when something undue is desired by the living entity and the Lord himself does not fulfill the desire. In Chaitanya Charamrita, it is said that one who worships the Supreme Lord and at the same time desires material enjoyment is contradictory in his desires. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform because worship of a demigod is material and devotional service to the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual. For the living entity who desires to return to Godhead, material desires are impediments. A pure devotee of Lord is therefore not awarded the material benefits desired by less intelligent living entities, who therefore prefer to worship demigods, the material world, rather than engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord.
Thank you very much, Fago. See, whatever desire whatever our desire was that get fulfilled in this one is all due to the Lord. Even those who worship in the demigods. And proper mention in the purport, people worshiping the demigod because sometimes they are desiring something that is not desirable. There was one past time of a devotee of Lord Shiva who was worshiping Lord Shiva, and he was doing so much austerity. For what? So that when he now get the blessing of Lord Shiva, what was his desire? His desire is that anyone he touches his head, the head should explode. Just imagine such desire. For what? He performed all very strong austerity just for him to gain the power to be blowing people's head. Just imagine. So when Lord Shiva gave him the power, so he was telling Lord Shiva, you see, you have given me this power. I'm not sure that this power you gave me is real. Let me test it on your head. You see, this is the relationship between the demigods and their servants. There's no love. There's no love between them. It's a business contract. You see, he wants to blow the head of his master. There was another Lord, the devotee of Lord Shiva also in the Krishna book. His name is, what is that his name? I've forgotten his name, but he has thousands of hands. He performed austerity to please Lord Shiva so that Lord Shiva gave him thousands of hands. And every time he will go and challenge Lord Shiva, you gave me this many hands so that I can fight. I don't see anyone to fight with. I want to fight with you. Just imagine. Yeah, the Lord has given him the benediction, what he desires. And now he wants to fight with Lord Shiva. Again and again, he's going to challenge him. And Lord Shiva told him, don't worry, you this rascal puffed up, don't worry. Very soon, your hand will be cut off by the Lord. You know, the very wonderful pastime in Krishna book. Then later, he challenged Krishna, and Krishna cut off all his hand and left him with only 2 hands. So all these demigod worshippers, they are like that. You know, they don't care for the person who gave them benediction. They are ready to even kill the person. You know, but Krishna is completely different. He's the supreme father of all. You know, he cares about our tomorrow. He cares about our liberation. So he will never give anything that will make the devotee destroy himself or herself. So that is Krishna. That is why he doesn't fulfill the material desire of his pure devotees. And the pure devotee also, they don't have any material desire anyway. You know, but many people, like many Indians, let me tell you one thing. There's so many Indians, they will tell you why they don't want to become devotee of Krishna. Because they say, even there's the argument in Krishna book also. The argument is there in the Krishna book by the personified Vedas. They asked Krishna. There was the question asked, why is it that the devotee of Lord Shiva, they are always very rich, and the devotee of Lord Krishna are very poor? You see, there was this argument. Now, this argument was there in the Krishna book. So many of the devotees here also, they used to say like that. They don't want to worship Krishna because if you worship Krishna, Krishna will take away everything away from you. But they want to worship Lord Shiva, they want to worship Durga, they want to worship all the other demigods because they want the things of this world, you know. So that is their own mentality. But it's not like that. It's not like that. Like we gave example of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, he had a material desire. He worshipped Krishna. Krishna gave it to him anyway. There's a story of the Brahmana, Sudama Vipra. Sudama Vipra was a friend of Krishna. He was very poor. You know, he went to the same school with Krishna when they were young. So after a long time, the wife was pressurizing him. Krishna is your friend. We heard that he's a king in a Dwarka. At least go and visit your friend. We cannot be suffering like this. You know, that is why if you don't have money, don't marry. You know, if you don't have money, don't marry. You'll be in trouble, you know. It's like that. Because if you don't have money, if you go and marry, you cannot tell the woman to perform austerity. It's not possible. It's not good. You have to go and look for money and take care of the woman, you see. So the woman every time was pressurizing him. You know, you go to your friend. He's a very rich man. You know, at least we can get something from him. Then after a long time, he has been pressurizing the Sudama. So one day he decided to go and visit his friend, not because of the wife pressure, but he just decided to go and visit his friend. Okay, so the wife gave him a cheap rice. You know, he went to get some cheap rice. When you get to your friend, you give him this cheap rice, you know. So Sudama went to Krishna palace. Krishna was very happy to see his friend after a long time. He welcomed him very nicely. He washed his feet. He sat him on his throne. And Krishna was asking Sudama again and again, Sudama, what have you brought for me? I know you brought something for me, but you are hiding it. He said, no. Because he was feeling shy. After seeing Krishna's palace, he was feeling shy to give him that old cheap rice. You know, just imagine you go and greet someone and you see their house look very palatial and you are coming with very old dry food. You'll be feeling ashamed to give to the person. So he was feeling like that. He doesn't want to give to Krishna. So Krishna was, as a friend, he was dragging with him. Give me. Now, and Krishna possibly took it away from him. And Krishna just took some of the cheap rice. Sudama, see what you are hiding from me, this nectar. Oh, Krishnama, why are you doing this? Then as Krishna was about to take the second one, Rukmini, Goddess Lakshmi, held his hand. Oh, my Lord, what are you trying to do? Please, don't do that. If you take the second one, I'm going to serve him for many lifetimes. You know, just by taking that first one, I'm going to serve him in this life and in the next. So please don't take any more. I don't want to be far away from you. And before Sudama came back, his house has been transformed into a wonderful palace. So the moral of the story is that when Krishna is pleased with your offering, you get your desire fulfilled. Most of our problem is that when we are desiring something from the Lord, we don't focus on the Lord. We focus on our desire. That is the problem. You see, you go in front of the Lord, you want something from Krishna. Just for example, let me give you a very gross example so that for us to understand. Let me give a gross example. For example, you have a rich man. You want something from that rich man. You go to his house. And every time you are just disturbing him about what you want. You're my friend. No, you're supposed to take care of me. No, you're supposed to give money. And the guy will be looking, what kind of nonsense? Every time he's just thinking about himself. If you do the other way around, you're going to that your friend, you think of what can I do to make him to be happy? And you just try to please the person. And when the person is very happy with you, what happened? You don't need to tell him anything. He will do everything for you. Similarly, when we have material desires, we always thinking about our desire instead of us to focus on Krishna. Instead of us to focus on Krishna and try to please Krishna. Instead of us to focus on Krishna and try to please Krishna, we're focusing on our desire. Krishna, I want this, Krishna, I want this, I want this, I want this. Instead of us to be thinking of how to please Krishna. You see? So that is why a devotee should not worship the demigods. A devotee should worship Krishna, even if they have material desire. There is no need for a devotee to worship a demigod. That's what Krishna is trying to tell us in these verses, Devotees should worship Krishna. While we are worshiping Krishna, try to please Krishna. Very, very important. When Dhruva Maharaj was worshiping Krishna, he forgot his desire. He was just thinking of how to please Krishna. This is how to get your desire fulfilled. When you are serving Krishna, think of how to please Krishna. Put your desire by the side, because Krishna already know your desire while you are worshiping him. Don't every time remind him. He already knows. He knows your desire. Don't every time remind him, I want this, I want this. He knows already. But while you are serving him, focus on how to please him. Dhruva Maharaj was just thinking about how to please the Lord. He was worshiping the Lord. He was worshiping him. He was so austere. He was worshiping the Lord. Then when the Lord was pleased with him, he came in front of him. Yes, I'm here. He said, my Lord, I don't want anything again. He said, no. You will get it. You have pleased me. You will get it. There's nothing like I don't want anything. So that is Krishna. Okay. So here is telling us there is no need for a devotee to worship the demigods. Very, very important. We should take note of that. Okay. Any comment or question? So Krishna continues to speak about this. Atamvanta tu phalam tesham tabhavatya pramedasa devam deva yajo yanti ma bhakta yatimam api. So Krishna continues again to stress on this. Men of small intelligence, apamedasa, alpha. In Bengali, they call it alpu. Alpu means small. Alpu means small. But in Sanskrit, it's called alpa. Alpha means small. Krishna say, alpha made us of those of small intelligence. Alpha made us. In Bengali, you say alpo. Alpo. In India, they say Torah chaye. So, but alpha means small intelligence. So Krishna say, a men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Atavanta imedeha, atubanta imedeha, falamte sham, atavanta falamte chube, falamte shantada pa, babati alpameda, levadeva yajo yanti mad bhakta yatima mapi. Those who worship the demigod go to the planet of the demigods, but my devotee ultimately reach my supreme planet. There's a very important message here. Krishna, like it is being portrayed by the worshipper of the Christians. They say God is a jealous God. So if you serve any other God, it's going to destroy you. I remember when we were growing up, we used to hear this a lot, that, and they feel that is why they have to save others, because they don't want God to destroy you. That their motive of preaching is like, they're very compassionate. They don't want God to destroy you. That's why they are preaching to you, But yeah, Krishna is making us to understand that he doesn't care. Whatever you worship, that is what you attain. You see, you worship me, you come to me. You worship the demigod, you go to the demigod. Whatever you worship, that is what you attain. You see, very, very important. So let's read the purport.
Commentators in the Bhagavad Gita say that one who worships a demigod forgets the Supreme Lord. But here is very stated that worshippers of
Your voice is very low. Your voice is very low. Can you use the mic?
Now clear problem. Commentators in the Bhagavad Gita say that one who worships a demigod forgets the Supreme Lord. There is stated that the worshippers of demigods go to the different planetaries. Various demigods are just as worshippers of the sun achieve the sun. or a worshiper of the demigods in the more achieved zone. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship the demigods like Indra, can attend the particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the supreme personality of God.
The mic is very low. I don't know whether it's from my side. I don't know. Is it from my side?
It is from their side, Prabhu.
Yeah, I can hear you in Nyarika Mataji. Your mic is very good. Mother Angel, the mic, I don't know what is wrong. The mic is not coming out.
So the letter
Maybe of the letter Pantabo.
Yes, bring it very close to you, please, so that it's on live. Tomorrow, somebody may want to hear what you are saying. Yeah. Bring it close to you and read it.
What is denied to
Yes, I can hear Ryan. Probably my voice was good now. Use the same place. Bring it close to you.
Sorry, that worshippers of demigods due to the different planets in the material world, but the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the Supreme Planet, the personality of God. Further points figure is that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. However, worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know what is the body, food must be supplied. Some of them are foolish. They claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This is very sanguine. Can anyone supply body with the earth or eyes? We do not know, but these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. In their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is separate and commentator of the Supreme Lord. Sorry. Not only are demigods part of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord. The Kshatriyas are his arms. The Vaisyas are his feet, and the Sudras are his legs. In all serve different functions, regardless of the situation. If one knows that both demigods and himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, he is not perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigod resides. There is nothing destination the devotees lead to. The result achieved by the demigods in election are erasable because this material world, the planets, the demigods and their worshippers are all erasable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are erasable. And therefore, such worship is performed by less intelligent living entities, because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness in devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful existence, that is all of knowledge. His achievements and those of common worshipper of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord on his pure devotees is unlimited. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Okay, so most important point here is that whatever we get from the demigods is temporary and is perishable. And so better to worship the supreme God. And so that whatever we worship in this world, that is what we will attain. Krishna will emphasize that in the next verse. We put more light to that in the next verse. Whatever you worship is what you attain. Okay, now let me see, 1 minute. 5, 26. Okay. Not here. So not in this chapter. Krishna talk about that. Yanti deva brata devam priti brata ha. Who can tell me where that verse is? Yanti devam brata pritim yanti priti brata ha. Putani yanti putam buteji ha. Yanti mam yajinopi mam. Who knows where that verse is? Are you hearing me, please? Huh?
It's 9.25, Prabhu.
9.25. How do you know?
Search it.
Okay, very good. Yes. I read the translation. Let's hear you. I was thinking it's in chapter 7, but it's in chapter 9. Read the translation. Let's hear from you. Are you there? Oh, your camera is frozen. Somebody want to read 925?
I'll read it properly.
Yeah, go
Those who
ahead.
worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me.
You see, Krishna is not an envious God. Like some other religion make us to understand that, oh, if you worship anything separate from God, you'll be destroyed. No, Krishna say, whatever you worship in this universe, that is where you go. That is why he mentioned here that those who worship the demigods will go to the demigod. But one problem with worshiping the demigod is that this material world is temporary, and the result of the demigod given to you is temporary. But we have to go to Krishna because Krishna abode is eternal, and the result given to us by Krishna is eternal. That is why Krishna wants us to worship him. You see? So many people cannot understand this. They cannot understand this. It's beyond their material understanding. We need some purification for us to understand. Very, very important. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. And that is, we are going to 24. In January we are starting it's called disciple course in January. Okay, so in January we'll be starting this called disciple course. We start on the is it on the 3rd of January? Yes, on the 3rd of January, and till the end of January. So ISKCON Disciple Course is a very, very nice program. And so this is organized by ISKCON Shishirada Madhava Mandir. So we'll be charging 500 pesos for registration. Is it too much?
No problem.
Okay. So we'll be charging 500 pesos for registration. And at the end of the program, we'll be giving certificates. Certificate will be given on a special festival day, either on Gora Punima or on some special occasion day. We'll be giving the certificate. Okay, so it's a very nice program for us to deepen our faith in the Guru Tattva, to understand about the Guru Tattva, and deepen our faith in our Guru. It's very, very important for devotees who want to deepen their faith in Guru, want to understand Guru and disciple Tattva. Very, very important. So we'll be starting in January. Just try to advertise it before the time. Okay, we are going to make poster, and the poster will be out very soon. Madam Tipura is arranging the poster. So the poster will be out very soon, and then we can share it. And also we're going to share link for you to register. So we're going to be doing it 8 to 9 8 to 9 o'clock, 1 hour every day. And we're going to spend like about maybe 15 hours. 15 hours or more, like that. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll be doing 4 hours every week for all January. It's a very nice program. If you join the program, you will love it. About the Guru Tattva, Guru disciple relationship. Very, very sweet. Okay. So that is that. It's very, very important for every devotee who wants to deepen their faith in Guru. Okay. So here Krishna is describing, continuing to talk about the so we'll go to text 24 now. Let me share my screen. If you want to ask any question, you are free to ask any question at any time. Okay. Avyaptam vyaptimapanam mayate mama budaya parambhava majanato mama vyayamanotamam. So unintelligent man who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before. I've now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So Krishna here, I will just explain something before we go into the purport. So here Krishna is describing, when Krishna was describing the demigod worshipper, he used the word alpha nedasa, small intelligence, intelligence stolen. But when he's talking about the impersonalists, he say Abudaya. I don't know if you understand what that means. Abudaya. What does that mean?
No intelligence?
No intelligence. Yeah. You see, it means that worshiping the demigod is even better than to be an impersonalist. Are you getting the points? You understand? It means that to worship the demigod, at least you believe in a form and you are worshiping. The only problem is that you have small intelligence. The intelligence is small because you are not worshiping the Supreme. Okay. But when it's describing the impersonalists, those who don't believe in the form of God, he say there is no intelligence. They are Abudaya. You see? So that is the difference. So let's read the purport now.
I read it, Prabhu.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna is his personal form, is here speaking before Arjuna, and still, due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamunacharya, a great devotee of the Lord, is in the disciplic succession of Sri Ramanujacharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, Tvam Shilarupa Sharitaihi Parama Prakristaihi Satwena Satvikataya Prabalaisha Shastraihi Prakhyata Daiva Paramitha Vidamataischa Naivasura Prakritaya Prabhavanti Bodham. My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, and your activities, and one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees, can understand you. They are unable to understand you. However, experts such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and the Upanishads and the other Vedic literatures, it is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead. Stotra Ratna 12. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by the study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme to be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only are the worshippers of the demigods less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on Vedic literature without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent. And for them, it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as abodhayaha, which means that those who do not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul, but the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow their great predecessor Shankaracharya, who has specifically stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be the only son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanum ashritam. Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, verse 29 confirms this. Atapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasada lesha nugrihita eva hi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno na chanya eko pichiram vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the supreme personality of Godhead are unable to know you. Even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years, one cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Ram,
Ram.
Hare Hare, then only can one understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has the body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form, and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. The 20th verse clearly states, Kamaisthairita prapadyante nya devataha. Those who are blinded by lusty desires surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets, and the Lord also has a planet. As stated in the 23rd verse, Devan Deva Yajoyante Madbhakta Yante Mamapi. The worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are devotees of the Lord go to Krishnaloka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonalists still maintain that the Lord is formless and that these forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their bodies are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are impersonal. They are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monastic contention that ultimate truth is formless and that the form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, that Lord Krishna is Satchit Ananda, eternal, blissful knowledge. The Vedic literature confirms that the supreme absolute truth is knowledge and blissful pleasure. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 3.9.28, and that he is reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities. Ananta Kalyana Gunatmako Sao. Vishnu Purana 6.584. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, unborn, he still appears. These are the facts that we should understand in Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false as far as the statement of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Personality, Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very long purpose. So we can see that Prabhupada in the purport also was emphasizing how Krishna is proving to us that he has his own personality. The demigods also, they have their own personality. So the worshipper of the demigod will go to the abode of the demigod, and the worshipper of Krishna will go to the abode of Krishna. So here this verse is telling, Krishna is trying to make us understand that those who condemn his personalism, who don't believe in his personal form, they are less intelligent. They have no intelligence actually. They have no intelligence because even the worshipper of the demigod is still even higher than them because at least they believe in forms. Meanwhile, and mind you, there are two kinds of impersonalists. We should not mix them up. There are two kinds of impersonalists. We have the Brahmavadis and we have the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis, they are much more elevated than the Mayavadis. Mayavadis, they are materialistic. Their own philosophy is very, very contaminating. Chaitanya Prabhu says, Mayavadi Krishna Aparade, that one should never listen to the philosophy of the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis, they are different. Brahmavadis, like Chaitanya Prabhu took initiation from a Brahmavadi, impersonalist. His guru was a Brahmavadi. Many devotees in those days, they took initiation from the Brahmavadi science because the Vaishnava was very rare at that time also, during the time of Chaitanya Prabhu. It was very rare. The impersonalists, somehow or the other, they always take over the stage because people, they easily believe in the impersonal aspect of God than to believe about the personal aspect of God. Very difficult for people to comprehend. So at a particular time, the personalism of God will just disappear on the head. Just like when Chaitanya Prabhu was on that time also, just imagine he took his science initiation from a Brahmavadi. His guru was a Brahmavadi. Then the time of Bhakti Thakur also, almost, as time goes on, everything will always be watered down. That is always the problem. That is why you see in the Western world, many of the preachers, they condemn form worship and they promote impersonalism. Because generally, the deity worship is always watered down. It's always watered down, generally. Because then the worshipper of the deities, or those who believe in the form of God, you will not see them start doing so many abominable things that you cannot comprehend. So it makes those preachers to even preach against the deity worship. Just like when Jesus Christ went to Jagannath Puri, he was criticizing them there in Jagannath Puri. Jesus Christ, he was criticizing them. Because when you go to Jagannath Puri, even you as a devotee, if you go to Jagannath Puri on the Yatra Day, if you're not careful, you will criticize the pujaris because they will start behaving like a businessman. Like they will owe a stick. They will owe a banana stick. The stick doesn't pain anyway. They will owe a banana stick and they will be eating it on you. Hey, dollar. If you're a foreigner, hey, dollar, give me dollar, So you start thinking, oh, how can this person be worshiping the Lord? He's thinking about money, asking for money. So you start criticizing them, you see? So these things always happen, as time goes on, that deity worship become watered down. And, like Prabhupada was very careful also when he was installing deities. Because when you go to India also, you see many deities that are abandoned, many abandoned temples, things like that, it become a burden. And that is why Prabhupada emphasized a lot. Preaching is the essence. If you don't give importance to preaching, deity worship will become a burden. If you don't give importance to preaching, deity worship will become a burden. It's like you are being bothered. Oh, again, I have to go and do this. So people, they love to be impersonal. Because in that impersonal, they don't need to do anything. So that is why in this Prabhupada set a very high standard, which we have to follow. Because when you go to India and you see the standard of deity worship, you can easily criticize also. But Prabhupada turned the table around. Prabhupada is a true, pure devotee of Krishna. And he set a very high standard. Prabhupada's standard of deity installations, deity worship is the topmost in the world. Prabhupada's standard is the topmost in the world. Because Prabhupada believed in the personal aspect of God. Believe in the form of Krishna. Because Prabhupada have seen Krishna. Completely different from those people who don't have understanding of who Krishna is. Some of them don't even want to dive into the topic of Krishna. They are even more comfortable with Lord Ramachandra, another form of Krishna. But when it comes to Krishna, no. Because Krishna is the supreme God. So Krishna, many a times, he performs contradictory activities that people cannot understand, they cannot digest. You see? So that is why here Krishna is saying, those who think him to be impersonal, they are abudaya, no intelligence. You see? Because Krishna is a person, just like he was speaking to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it was a person who was speaking to Arjuna. You can see him if you desire to see him. One time, the king advisor, when king went to his advisor, he said, how can I see God? What can I do to see God? What can I do to see God? It's okay. You get ready. I'm going to take you to a sage who will answer your question. So they travel very far distance. They pass through mountains and valleys and forests. And finally, they came to a sadhu, a sage. And the advisor asked him, now you ask this question to this sage. Then the king asked the question again, what can I do to see God? And the sage answered him, if you want to see God, just what you have done now to come and see me, that is what you need to do. Your strong desire. You see, just because you want to see God, you want to ask the question from me, you left your kingdom and you traveled far to come here. So similarly, if you want to see God, your desire must be very, very strong. It must be burning desire. The only qualification to see Krishna is the greed. We must be greedy to see Krishna. That is the only when greed is allowed in the scripture. Greedy to see Krishna. Krishna has a form. You know, in this material world, for us to smell nice, we use a perfume. But Krishna has a very natural perfume that if you see him, if you perceive that perfume of Krishna, your nose, will be dead to all the aroma in this world. You just want to smell that perfume again and again. That is why he said, the eyes that see God shall die. Because when you see him, even just hear the sound of his flutes or perceive the aroma coming from his body, you will not be the same again. Krishna has all these natural, wonderful, beautiful qualities that if you can just get a glimpse of one of them, your life is perfect. One time, one devotee, the first devotee Prabhupada was preaching to when Prabhupada was in Jhansi, he wanted to study the League of Devotees. So he was given he was talking about Prabhupada, that one day during Jamastami, he was hearing Kirtan upstairs in the temple. Prabhupada was there alone. Prabhupada was used to chanting Kirtan alone. That is why it was not difficult for him when he went to America, for him to start the movement chanting Kirtan alone. It was not difficult for him. So Prabhupada, so this is what he was saying. Prabhupada was chanting Kirtan on Janmashtami Day. He was chanting Kirtan alone in that temple. And Prabhupada was very ecstatic. So he went up to go and see, because the Kirtan was so ecstatic that, he has to go up to see. Then when he saw Prabhupada was wearing a very beautiful garland. And the garland, the flowers cannot be found in that city. The flowers in that garland cannot be found in that city. And the aroma from that garland is so transcendental. And Prabhupada was very ecstatic chanting that Kirtan. So he could not ask Prabhupada questions. So the following day he asked Prabhupada, I saw that you're very ecstatic chanting Kirtan yesterday. And I saw you wearing a garland. Where did you get the garland? See, I was chanting very ecstatic Kirtan. Krishna was so pleased with me. And Krishna came and gave me the garland. So Prabhupada saw Krishna. Prabhupada saw Krishna. This is the kind of people we have in our lineage. Prabhupada, his guru, Bhakti Notaku, the six Goswami, they saw Krishna. These people, they saw Krishna, they know Krishna. Can give us Krishna. Not those who are speculating about Krishna, who don't know anything about Krishna. So if we hold very strongly to Prabhupada and the Paramparam, we can see Krishna also. Krishna has a form. Okay, so we stop here. Already 3 minutes past. So Krishna is trying to tell us that those who don't believe in his personal form, they have no intelligence. Even those who worship demigod, they still have small intelligence. But those who don't believe in his personal form, they don't have intelligence at all. So Krishna is a person, and he has so many wonderful transcendental attributes, qualities, pastimes, and there's so many wonderful things. That is why we are here. We are hearing these pastimes. Very, very wonderful. Hare Krishna. So, any comment, question quickly?
Prabhu, I have a quick question.
Yeah, please.
But this one from yesterday, Prabhu, when I watched the video in YouTube.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, very nice. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this was related to Prabhu Pitambar's question, like when a devotee is being offensive, and then you told him like they have to approach a senior person or someone in level with them. So in line with that one, I just want to ask, like, how do you take seniority in Krishna consciousness? Like, is it like the person is senior, like when she is or he is already initiated after a few months of practice, or a person is considered as senior even though they no longer they haven't had initiation yet, but are practicing for several years? Which one is?
You see how I'm blushing just by hearing somebody's asking a question? My face is brightening up. Thank you. I love to hear questions. It's a very nice question. Thank you. So, one thing about seniority. Seniority is in 3 categories. Okay. Number 1, senior by age. Okay. Number 2, senior by which year you joined the movement. And number 3, senior by authority. You see? So these are the 3 categories of seniority. Age, when you join the movement, and by having authority in the movement. So these are the 3 categories of seniority. So are you okay with that?
Yeah, but with joining the movement, Prabhu, is it like the time that you got initiated?
Yes.
Or, okay.
The time you got initiated. Yeah. So that is why you see, like for me, I joined the movement 1993, but I got initiated 2000. You see? You know, I joined the movement 1993, but I got initiated 2000. You see? So, and if somebody gets initiated to the same 2000, then we are equals. Not when I join. You see? And then, so when you get initiation, and when you, and second initiation also, when it does, according to when you get first, second initiation also, sometimes somebody gets in first initiation, immediately after getting first initiation, get second initiation, and somebody did not take second initiation for a long time. So that one person who takes second initiation becomes senior to you, even though if you join before that person. So these are the different categories of seniority in our movement. Yeah. So, but the highest of them all, the highest of them all. In Nigeria, we say the oga patapata of them all. You know, I'm using Nigerian language now. The oga patapata of them all. That the highest, it means that the highest of them all is spiritual seniority according to your advancement in spiritual life. That is the highest. How much advancement you have made in spiritual life. Okay. So, but that is very difficult to measure. That is the problem. So that is why we use this other material one to measure. Because I cannot say, oh, I'm more advanced than you. How can you prove it? You cannot say you are more advanced than me. How can I prove it? You see? So this one is very tricky because somebody who is very advanced will not come and tell you that he's very advanced. You see? So that is why we don't use the advancement to measure. We use those practical, physical one to measure. When you join, if you are positioned in the movement, and if you are older than the other person in terms of age. Let's say, for example, now, Pitamba Prabhu is older than me, and which is not true. But I took initiation before him, then I'm senior to him, even though if he's older than me. Are you getting the point now? Yes. Even though if he's senior to me, even though if he's 70 years senior to me, if I get initiation before him, in spiritual life, I'm more senior to him. And that is why, based on that also, in a small temples, in the big temple, they don't do the practice. But in a small temple, people are offered the ghee lamp based on their seniority. People are offered the flowers based on their seniority. In the big temple, they cannot do that because there's so many people. But in the small temples, people are very conscious of this. You know, like, for example, if you offer a neophyte, a junior, a ghee lamp before the senior, it may take offense. Yeah, okay. Oh, what Mother Nikki was saying was true because I was raising my hand. The hand was up. Oh, yeah.
Prabhu,
Okay.
you now believe me.
Yeah, now I just believe you now. Thank you. You know, thank you for making me realizing this. This is self-realization. So like I was saying, so in the small temples, people are very conscious. You know, so that is why when you are going to offer flowers, you are going to offer ghee lamp, you have to be very careful so that you don't offend people. Okay. But those who are very advanced in spiritual life, they don't care anyway. Whether you give them last or you give them first, they don't care. So that is why we are saying advancement is the highest measure for seniority. The person might have just come maybe 1 month before and is very, very advanced in terms of self-realization, in terms of practice. You know, then it can be more even advanced for those who have been practicing for 30 years, 80 years. But that is difficult to judge. That is why we use the physical ones. Is that okay? Okay, let me raise my hand again. So any other question or comments? I want to see whether it will come up. Any other comments or question?
I think it needs to be fully in the video.
Like this. Okay. So any other comment or question? It's not coming on. Oh, Krishna. I don't know how it came. Okay, so thank you very much. So thank you for that question. You see, whenever you ask, when I see question, my face become lighting up, you know. And so we should ask questions. It's very important. It's part of the learning when we ask questions. You know, like the question Mother Niharika asked, very, very interesting and very educating. We already done it in our Vaishnava ticket, but again, we are repeating it here. So thank you very much. Okay, so.
I'm hungry now.
Matay say.
Gutom na ako.
Gutom lang ko. Go eat, go eat. Okay, vancha kapatarubia cha kipasinubia vacha. Patitana Papadevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Mother Chita is hungry. Please go ahead, Hare Krishna.